English 111 Online. This is Jamie, and I'm talking to you about doing the RevisionLand piece. So this is walking you through how to complete that. You'll see here I've got the RevisionLand puking rainbow puking unicorn here, and I'm going to walk you through these steps. Okay. One of the things I want you to note is that every single time you see a number like this, that means that there's something for you to be doing. Okay, and this is kind of marking off the 5 different things you're going to be doing for each paper. So every paper gets this, all of these things. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have your paper up. You're going to put it on one side of the screen, or you're going to have a piece of paper next to you, and you're going to read your paper without actually writing on it, so that you're not thinking about, you're not reacting to it like you would as the writer, being like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that. Oh, this is terrible. You'll have reader-centered comments, and you'll start looking at your paper, and you'll be like, okay, opening is kind of boring. Thesis is in a good spot. Unclear transition into blah, 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 blah. And you'll just continue like that. All you're doing is you're noting some things. Now, you'll want to immediately change those, but I want you to hold back on that. As I talked about in the other video, the whole idea of this is to try to break apart your paper and find some really significant things to change. So you'll have a series of comments on a paper, and maybe this first document, it would be for your, your paper 1. So we know this is the first paper you're working on. So I'll have my reader comments, and I would continue, etc., etc., etc. And there I'm done. I will write it on paper. I will label the page reader-centered comments, or reader comments is fine. Okay. Then I'll move on to the second thing I'm doing, which is step 3. This is about what my main point is. So I'm going to call this main point. And what I'm doing here is I'm identifying what my main point is, what I'm trying to say, and then ask the following. So I'm trying to figure out if there is a main point. Does the paper say what I want it to say, which in short is, does it follow the main point? Does it give me all the information I need for that main point? Where do I tell my reader what my main point is? This is where your thesis is, right? Your main point. Did you do it at the end? Did you do it at the beginning? And then, is my point worth saying? Is it worthy? Okay. And so so your notes here would be like, I'm trying to say that I think the coil is super awesome, right? And does it say what I want it to say? The paper pretty much follows this, but has some extra stuff. Now, where do I tell my reader where my main point is? I put the thesis in the last paragraph. Oh no, bad placement. Okay, is my point worth saying? And then I'd answer that. Again, if you find things that are wrong, great. That's exactly the point of RevisionLand, is to find things wrong. So don't try to cover it up in your notes here. Be like, well, I put my point in the wrong place, but it's right how I wanted it to be. Just say what you're seeing. This is all notes for you to understand. Like, oh, okay, I saw this. Oh, okay, I saw that. So then you'd be done with noting your main point. Then you're going to move on to the third one, which is, who is your audience? Okay. Now, if you want to, you can find some pictures online, or you can just tell me about the audience. Now, what I don't want is a general audience, okay? I don't want just general people are my audience, because how do we write to general people? What are general people? Think back to the beginning of the class where I had you think about who was in this class and what our assumptions might be. You really want to think about your audience carefully. So not general audience. I always wrote to my grandmother. Here's why I wrote to my grandmother. I wrote to her when I was doing theoretical stuff in college, because my grandmother was open-minded, but not schooled at all. She needed lots of explanation to understand things. And what I found was when I wrote like that, it was really understandable and people really understood what I was talking about, especially if I was dealing with theoretical things. You can have a specific audience or a general specific, meaning like, oh, there are people in my classes, or, and then tell me, what do those people believe? What do they know? Okay, so I really want you to have a specific audience because that allows you to write more clearly. It allows you to make micro changes that you wouldn't normally do because you're thinking about, ooh, how can I get this to that audience? Okay, there's your fourth one. Obviously, this stuff over here on the right is really short. I'm just giving you examples. And now I'm going to do this reverse outline, right? I'll explain what a reverse outline is, okay? All it is what we normally think of as an outline. It's like we make an outline like this, right? And it all kind of indents. Let's see if I can make it indent. Oh dear, I screwed that up. We'll go back to here. So it's in that same way. Like here's my A and here's my that one and here's this one, okay? And this would sort of describe, a regular outline describes, or it prescribes rather, what to do. It says here's how you're going to organize this. You do it before you write the paper. Reverse outline just means you're describing what you see, which is to say that on the left side of every paragraph you're going to talk about here's what's in this paragraph. Okay, that's what's on the left side. So let's imagine that the text were in the middle here. Well, the text is sort of like blah, 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 blah. There's text. That's a whole paragraph, let's say. And on the right side, you're going to talk about here's how this fits in. Okay, I'm going to move this over so it kind of looks nicer. Oh, look. Oh! There, sort of, kind of. I can feel Adam knowing exactly what I need to do to try to fix this because he's so good with computers. So on the right side we have here's how this fits in. On the left side you're simply describing the paragraph. What I would do is I'd go through every paragraph and I'd look at it and I'd go, okay, here's what's in it. Here's what's in this. Here's what's in that. And then I would talk about how it fits in. How you're going to write this, it's going to be more interesting, okay? So reverse outline, and then what I'm going to have is I'm going to have the first paragraph, I'm going to say opening ideas and story. And then I'll put a slash here, and this will be what I write on the right side, which might be sets up main idea. Okay, so this is where I have my thesis. Then I go to my next paragraph, and my next paragraph is history of Coyle, let's say, because I'm writing about how he's super awesome. And then on the right side of that paragraph, I would have written something like background necessary to understand the paper. So this is how, right here, is how I'm going to record it so that I can get this information clearly. But what you're doing, again, is you're looking at one paragraph in your paper. Let's imagine this is a paragraph. You're analyzing it just paragraph by paragraph. And on the left side, you're thinking, what's in this paragraph? Just describing it like you saw it out on the street. And the right side is where you eventually go, how does this fit into the big picture? How does this paragraph do something to further my main point? Okay? You're just answering those questions. And there's no wrong answer to those questions. These are just ways for you to look more carefully at your paper and figure out if there's paragraphs that are out of order or paragraphs that don't even need to be here or information that's sort of mixed. What if you have two paragraphs talking about the same thing? Geez, maybe you could just join them together. So that's what this is all about. Okay, then you'll send all this stuff to me. You'll have all this information here, which is all your RevisionLand work. And then in a separate post, you're going to be sending me your revision plan. This is just one example. This is a revision plan from a student in my face-to-face class. Okay, and you'll see that each one is different. Paper one, I will do this, I will do that, I will talk about this, I will do that. They're not general. The revision plans aren't like, oh, I'm going to revise stuff and make it clear. And then for the second paper, I'm going to revise stuff and make it clear. That each description is really specific to that paper because you've looked at these papers so carefully that you have a laundry list of things to do. You have lots of stuff and lots of significant stuff rather than just surface stuff. So that's the focus there. I hope this is super helpful to you and that we're going to be able to have good conversation about it. Please email me any point if you're confused.